Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at deck lists. I've been cooking up. There's going to be four deck lists we're taking a look at, and they're all going to be ink combinations that didn't really see much play last set. So yeah, let's get right into it. So I'm just going to open up. Okay, so here we are. This is the first deck list we are taking a look at. It's going to be Sapphire Steel with a detective theme slash focus. Sapphire still did see some play last set, but it was uh, not top tier in any way. So um, I'm exploring that too. So yeah, what is this deck about? It's about detectives mostly. So we have pretty much all the deck detectives where we can play. Uh, so we have as one drops we have Basil and Nick Wilde. Uh, then as a two drop detective we have Daisy Duck, new detective as support. Nick Wilde was also new. Then we have the basic two cost ramps. So we have Depot, we have Sail. But then I'm also playing Bleakly. This could also be something else probably, but this is just there as a placeholder for it. Because I figured the deck really wants to ramp to these 6 cost things. So it's good to have some redundancy with more ramp. So yeah, then we are playing this new Judy Hops, the 4 cost 3/3 that when you play it and when it quests, you get to look at the top 3 cards and take a detective to your hand. So with this deck we have so many detectives, it's pretty much always gonna hit. So it's kind of like a Thala, but it's a better Thala because it gets your card on play, but then it also stays as a threat when it quests. So if the enemy doesn't deal with it, you get to take a card each turn, pretty much. And even though the card like value might not be great, some of these detectives aren't that good. It's still like resources we can take use of, and we can even these small detectives later on can still be ink. So yeah. Then we get to the bigger stuff. So our early game plan is just to ramp and then get this bigger stuff. So we have Donald Duck, Focused Flatfoot. He is also a detective, and he just ramps us more. And he's here just because he's a detective, and it's a solid card. Gets us one more ink and stays as a 2-quester, so that's solid. Then we have this new card, the Genie for 7, quest for 2, just the vanilla, but he's a detective, so he makes the cut. So 4/7 is pretty okay stat line. It's pretty hard to deal with, so it can often go 2 for 1 against most board state. So yeah, he's here. Then we have this Nick Wilde shift line. That is why we are playing this 1-cost Nick Wilde. So he is 5-cost, uninkable, 5/4, and when during your turn, whenever one of your detective characters manages another character in a challenge, draw a card. So it's kind of like a Queen of Hearts in a sense, but it's only on banish, not on challenge, which is a shame. But it's still a good card draw. We don't really have that much card draw in this deck, so and pretty much everything here is detectives, apart from Depot and Bigley. So yeah, that's why Nick Wilde is very good. Every one of our characters can potentially draw a card if we play it. And 5/4 is okay enough. It's a bit bad since there's this new Thunderbolt, which we are also playing because it deals 4 damage. But at least if we shift Nick Wilde, we can still take advantage of the draw on the turn, and then he probably gets banished. But yeah. Then we have this Daisy Duck. This is a bit iffy because this new Daisy Duck says when it's exerted, cards and the opponent's inquest exerted. It is best played when you can get it down early, but with these colors, we don't have a one-cost Daisy Duck, so the earliest we can get it is on turn 4, which is still okay, but um, the effect doesn't really do that much at that point of the game. But it's still solid, like 4/6 support, uh, and it's a detective, so it just gets included because of that. And if the ability does something, then that's great. But if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Then I think the best card in the deck, uh, at least from the detective point of view, is this Judy Hopps shift. Uh, she's a 6 cost, 6/4 that says during your turn, your detective characters gain alert and resist 2. So the alert part is good because we don't have ways to deal with the evasives other than these removal actions. Uh, but the resist 2 is really what like brings it home, because resist 2 is enough that we pretty much get to take favorable trades against any board state, because getting like, even if it like challenge 2 things and we deny 4 damage from our characters, it can mean like 2 of our things survive, and without the resist, none of our things would have survived. So uh, that is very good and can potentially swing games. Uh, so that is why it would be nice to play some other Judy Hop shifts too, other than this like very good Judy Hops that we don't really want to shift on. But she's fine to play just as a 6-drop non-shift, because the effect is still on when you play it, and you can just challenge with your other detectives then. Then, as the last character, we are playing this Goliath, clan leader, 6/5 at the end of each player's turn. If they have more than 2 cards in their hand, choose and discard until they have to, and if they have fewer than 2, they draw until they have to. So this is just to have some more card draw, and this is to fill out our top hand. So when we ramp with cards like Tipo and Bleakly, we are uh, burning up resources to get to high mana. So after doing that on turn 4, it is really good to play this Goliath, because opponent might not be able to deal with that at the point, and they need to discard down, and we get to draw up. So we get to have the advantage of ramping, and then this Goliath equals the card advantage for both players. So yeah, that is really good. And then, as I said, we have this Strength of a Raging Fire, and he held this Thunderbolt as a nice action songs that just remove things. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this list is pretty solid. Doesn't really do anything that unfair, but it's like has like a good floor, so it doesn't really break that much, because it has like enough of these big things it wants to ramp to. So any one of them on their own is okay, and then uh, once we hit some of our card draw, like Goliath or Wild or Judy Hops earlier on, we get to go to the mid game and then take over with cards like Judy Hops that gives the resist and alert. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Then we have Ruby Amethyst. This also was a color combination that didn't really see much play last set. So what I've tried to do here is build this around heroes, pretty much. And that is because we are playing this new Hercules, Mighty Leader, that says this character can only be dealt damage. This character can be dealt damage unless he's being challenged. And while this character is exerted, your other hero characters can't be dealt damage unless they're being challenged. Uh, so that ability is really strong. It allows our heroes to uh, take out anything for free when they are exerted on your opponent's board, because when we are doing the challenging, we also take no damage. That's pretty much the most common scenario with this deck. And also, um, when this is exerted, it does protect our card draw engines like Dumbo from being banished with something like Strength of a Raging Fire. Uh, unless Hercules is taken out first. So that's pretty cool. Um, so as one drops, we are playing Mulan and Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell is just solid, and Mulan is here because we have the shift line. Then as two drops, we are playing the 3/1 evasives. The Violet came out this set. It just adds one more evasive, and this deck is pretty much trying to curve out, play one drop, play two drop, then three drop, and so on. And when we get to six, we top out. So uh, we have these two drops, evasives, just because we have Dumbo. As three drops, we also have two. We have this Bronx, which is just a big body that can take out pretty much anything in the early to mid game. And then we have this Elsa that just draws a card, and it is a shift target for a big Elsa later. So that is why they are there. The Elsa is also a hero, which is nice. Um, then we have this Dumbo, as I said, that is there to provide us late game like card draw. Once we run out of fuel, we can turn our small evasives to card draw. So that is why both of these two drops are these. Uh, so yeah, Dumbo is still, I think it's gonna still be playable, and maybe it's not as oppressive as in set 9, but I think it still has place in some decks. Um, and then, like I said, we have this Hercules that makes all our heroes a bit better. Um, so yeah, pretty much we want to have as many heroes as possible. Unfortunately, this Violet isn't a hero, but there wasn't any uh, good alternative for it. But at least this Vanellope is a hero. Um, so yeah, then we move on to the 5 drops. We have Belle, Accomplished Mystic, and we have this Elsa. Uh, they are also both heroes, and uh, both are proven to be good cards, especially this Elsa. Very solid removal, and the Dumbo turns it to card draw as well. Then, as a new card, we are playing this Demona, 5/6 that when you play, exert all opposing characters, and then each player with fewer than 3 cards in their hand draws until they have 3. So this is kind of like the best card in the deck, and I also rated it very high in my set reviews. Just because this deck, when we play a 1 drop to 5 drop, like every 1 card each turn, we are bound to be low on cards when we get to the 6 drop. So the Demona ability is gonna be good for us. Uh, it's much better when we are on the play, because then your opponent most likely will not draw as many cards with it, if they draw at all. But even if they do draw some cards, it's fine, because when we exert our opponent's characters, if we have a Hercules on board, we can pretty much take out all our opponent's stuff for free, and then that is pretty much a game at that point, because once your opponent loses the board, that like the whole board, there is really no good way to come back. At least there's no easy way to come back. So yeah. Then we are playing Maui. There's not many actions in this deck, but I think Maui is still a solid card, and he's also evasive, so you can use the Dumbo ability with it. And there's a couple of actions at least, so we can. And it's very threatening to leave out for your opponent, so it's still a high value character. Then, as I said, we have this Mulan shift line for this smaller Mulan, only 2, just because the deck space is a bit tight. Uh, then we have 2 of these bigger Elsas, just because we have 8 Elsas, smaller Elsas we are playing. So it is pretty obvious to play this bigger Elsa as well. Um, and then as actions, we have Finders Keepers, Dragonfire, and Pirate Slide. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this deck has, uh, I think maybe the best potential out of these 4 decks we're going to be going to as being good, and maybe being even like contending for the against the best decks in the meta. So I don't know what those decks are going to be yet. But yeah, that pretty much the highlight of this deck is this Demona. and this Hercules. They are both have been great in my playtesting, and this Hercules has been a bit surprising also. I probably undervalued it a bit when I reviewed it, but the Demona has been very good, and I immediately like thought it was gonna be very good. So yeah, no surprise there. So yeah, let's move on to the next deck. Then we have Ruby Sapphire, which was very absent in last meta. So in set 9, it got gutted. It lost every good card it had, pretty much. Well, not all, but most of it. So it's probably not going to be that great even now. It got some tools, uh, but it's at least maybe a bit better than last set because it did get some tools. So we are not using many new cards in this test, just a couple, but they are very key in making this good. So what is our strategy? Well, as every Sapphire deck, pretty much we are playing the two cost ramps, Depot or Sail. Uh, then we are also playing Develop and Vision for like deck thinging because I don't think there's too many good cards to include in this deck. So we just want to make our deck as small as possible, and these kind of do that. And they are also good actions for the shark. Um, so yeah, what are we ramping to? On 4, we either want to ramp to Cinderella, the new forecast that says at the end of your turn, if you play the princess, this turn you may put a card from your hand in the inkwell to draw a card. Or we want to play Kida. And those are, well, both are ways to ramp. Cinderella does it immediately, Kida does it a turn later. But both serve a similar purpose. So we are still, after that, we ideally want to skip turn 5 with Cinderella and go straight to 6. But if not, we can with Kida we can do it delayed and then maybe play a 5-drop and yeah, go on from there. So as the other 4-drop to these ramps, we have Raya, which is a 3/3 princess that says once during your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may ready another chosen character of yours. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. Um, this is here as an additional trigger for Cinderella and also to keep Kida safe. So when we play Kida on turn 3, if we have Raya, we want to play that afterwards to make Kida like ready herself, but just by using the ability. Uh, so we get to use her multiple times when we have Raya on board. And uh, then we have Lilo causing an uproar, and that's there to also ready a character for a similar purpose. So he says, during your turn, if you played 3 more actions, you may play this character for free. That's pretty much not gonna happen a lot of the time, but it might with this deck. It has enough actions, so it can be free sometimes. But the second ability is what we're playing it for. When you play this ready chosen character of yours, they can quest for the rest of the turn. So instead, just to ready Kida, just additional cards to uh, be more consistent. And then we have Queen of Hearts, just to add draw. Um, um, and then as the 6 drops, like I said, we have Maui. We have lots of actions for it in this deck. So Maui is very good here. And then we have this new David Xanatos, charismatic leader. That is a 5/5 and says during your turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, draw a card, and whenever this character quests, chosen character gains rush this turn. So that is pretty solid. So it is a card draw, or at least threatening to be card draw. If our opponent has things exerted, we can trade into them and draw cards. And it also threatens to give rush to a bigger card like Shark. So I think that is solid, and it's thinkable. So yeah, I think it can maybe be playable here in these color combinations at least. Um, so yeah, as bigger threats we have Hades. Yeah, saw lots of play last set. just puts chosen opposing character into the player's inkwell. Uh, and then we also are playing this Maleficent that banishes a chosen character. So we are playing a lot of removal, uh, just because we don't have that much card draw, uh, but our card draw is the ramp, so we want to ramp up and then play these big threats, and hopefully our opponent will run out of steam before they can deal with every one of our threats. That is the hope here. And then as an additional removal, we have this sudden scare, the new action that says put an opposing character into the player's inkwell face down. The player puts top card of your deck into the inkwell face down. So this is just very efficient removal in the late game, and it's also we can get it back with Shark. So this deck has potential to remove lots of things. Uh, the weakness is most likely going to be hyper aggro that just can go much faster than this deck can deal with. But if that's not that popular, then this can have some play into slower decks that play like one-off threats, because this can deal with one-off threats very efficiently. And then as the last couple of cards, we have Dig a Little Deeper, just additional search / card draw, and then we have a couple of gold coins. This can probably be something else, but there are also something to play on one potentially, and they can ready Kida if there's nothing else to ready Kida. Already something else too, but mostly for that. So yeah, that's the Ruby Sapphire deck. Um, there's probably lots of ways to build this, and this is just one way, but just trying out this. I tried out a similar list last set, but it just wasn't good enough against Blurple. But now it has some more tools, so maybe it can compete a bit better, but remains to be seen. So yeah, let's go to the last deck. Okay, last up we have Amber Ruby. This is probably the weakest out of these lists, just because this deck doesn't have much card draw, but it's a fun deck, so let's go through it. So the idea with this deck is to have lots of princesses and heroes and the combination of them. And it's built around Hercules, uh, which we went over earlier, and it's also trying to be a princess list, with Tiana being an extra protector. So we are trying to fill out our board and then quest all at once. Once we have all our combo pieces on board. So yeah, what we are trying to do is get Hercules on board. He protects all our heroes when it's exerted. We want to have Tiana on board exerted, so our opponent uh, doesn't get to challenge us without needing to pay ink. And then we also want to have a bodyguard on board, so a bodyguard that is a hero. So those options here are the Prince, which is just a 0/5, and Minnie Mouse, which is a 0/8 that gets strength for each damage on her. So if we get all those pieces on board, that is looking pretty good, because Hercules means Tiana can't get sniped with something like strength or Zeus, and the bodyguard means that they can't run into Tiana or Hercules first, and Tiana means that our bodyguard doesn't really take damage. So that is really the point, and everything else here is there to support it. We also have this new Mickey Mouse that gives other Amber characters +2 willpower, so that can also make our Tiana, for example, much more resilient. With 6 willpower, it's really hard to deal with. Uh, so yeah, if we get some of our pieces like this on the board, then we can just start questing out. And the Hercules is at least a very good police on the board as well, because he is a 5/3 that doesn't take damage when you challenge with it. So he can just take out something and then uh, also take out something when your opponent challenges into it. So it goes 2 for 1 pretty easily. So yeah, that's the game plan here. Oh, and yeah, we also have this Rapunzel that uh, has support, and whenever one of your characters is chosen for support on the start of your next turn, next time they would be dealt damage, they take no damage. So this is also an additional way to shield Artiana, for example. So yeah, um, and yeah, one of the the last new card here is the Horseman Strikes. That is draw a card to may banish chosen character with evasive. So we don't have any evasive hate here, so we don't have any evasive cards. So this is our way to deal with evasive characters, if there are any. And that is very efficient because it also draws a card. So yeah, that's the deck. Give it a try, build it yourself on Dreamboard, for example, and maybe you can give uh, some ideas on maybe other princesses or heroes to include in this list. But I think this is playable at least and has some potential with locking out the game with Hercules slash Diana. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Next video is probably gonna be opening maybe some display boxes, box or trove or packs, but uh, that is probably gonna be either tomorrow or the day after. So yeah, see you then. Bye.